Welcome. I promise I'm not going to do this every day. Welcome into another edition of The Meltdown. It's becoming comical at this point. You guys sent me to see Ghostbusters Frozen Empire yesterday. I'll have my review of that. Tyler attended an AMC Scream Unseen showing, and I don't think he's been the same since. We are seeing the first reactions to Godzilla x Kong, and we'll share them with you. Is an Anne Hathaway resurgence potentially upon us? And with the rumors of Happy Gilmore 2 going around, Lunce's list counts down John's 5 favorite Adam Sandler movies on the next edition of Lunce's List. It's all straight ahead right here on The Meltdown, presented by MyBookie, broadcasting live from the Culver studio.
Two big balls in a tiny studio, teaching you and me about everything they know that makes sound. A meltdown, it's the meltdown, time for the meltdown, coming for the meltdown, let's start the show.
We welcome you into Meltdonia. All of you loyal Meltdonians, thank you for being here on the show.
Oh my God.
Everyone loves it, and I'm going to continue to say it. We need a shirt that says Meltdonians on it. Proud Meltdonian. Don't you think that would sell like hotcakes, John? I think it would.
Sure.
Thank you for making us a part of your daily routine, watching live here on YouTube, Twitch, X, Facebook, however you're consuming the show. We appreciate it. If you're on YouTube, make sure you hit that thumbs up button for us. Really helps. And if you are not yet subscribed, we are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of this month. We are so close. We're like 31 subscribers away or something like that. So make sure you subscribe if you have not already. Thank you for your participation. The other half of the Meltdown, that is John Lunsford. John, last night was one of the worst poker outings that I have ever had. I played hyper-aggressive. Mm-hmm. I was on massive draws and whiffed on about 7 of them, and that was it. And my night was over, and I was the first one eliminated. And then I took my boombox, and I went home.
I'm usually the first one eliminated, but it usually takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours before I'm eliminated. It was a very quick night last night. But you know what? Happens to everybody. The minute you left, I didn't do too much better after that. After getting a giant stack, lost almost all of it, same kind of thing, and went out first hand after rebuys ended. So yeah, it wasn't real good.
I won 2 total hands last night, and I've won 28 of these tournaments, so I know what I'm doing in this thing, and I won 2 total hands, and it was disgusting, and I'm not proud of myself, and I will rebound. The king will be back. I promise you that.
Good.
Producer Tyler is here. I know everyone's concerned. Well, you got your wish. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2, was not the Scream Unseen last night. Congratulations, Tyler. I know you're thrilled about that.
Oh, I'm not thrilled about what was the Scream Unseen, though.
For those that don't know, John, what is the premise of the AMC Screen Unseen and the AMC Scream Unseen and this whole gimmick that people maybe are not aware of that takes place, I think, every Monday night, right?
I don't know if it's every Monday night, but it's
like
every,
once a month or twice a month.
Yeah, once or twice a month, I think. At least the Screen Unseen, and I think they kind of mixed in between the Scream Unseen. Basically what it is an unreleased movie that's probably not going to be a blockbuster. They release a couple of weeks early. They give you basically the rating and the runtime, and that's all they tell you. So you'll know it's a PG-13 movie that's an hour and 57 minutes. So if you think, hey, I'll take the gamble and see what I see, I don't think it's super expensive. I don't know what it is. I don't know.
$5.
Yeah.
No, I want it back.
So it's only $5.
Good review.
So like you won't get like a Marvel movie there. You won't get like Godzilla Kong this weekend, but you'll get a movie like Tyler saw with a smaller movie, because even I feel like I hear more about the Winnie the Pooh horror movies than I hear about. I didn't even know what Sting was until it got brought up, and I looked it up because people always like to guess based on the runtime what it could potentially be, and I was like, I think it's Sting.
Because the runtime's always just a little bit off to try to throw people off the trail,
Right.
but they have to actually give you a time because they don't want their audience members feeling like they're being held hostage, so they have to give a time.
Yeah. But anyway, it's the movies that, like, Immaculate may have been maybe a little too mainstream because it does have a really big actress in it, and Lay Down with the Devil would have probably been too obscure to do in it, that you kind of find a happy medium sometimes with these horror movies, and that's what they did with Sting. But I feel like Winnie the Pooh has like this following behind it. Not that people want to see it, but everybody has heard of it. And whoa, Winnie the Pooh's a killer now.
It's a social media horror movie is what it is.
You can't really do that, so I didn't really think it was going to be that for you, but it ended up being Sting instead.
So, Tyler, I went and met up with you right before your movie started because I was coming out of Ghostbusters Frozen Empire to then go get destroyed in a game of poker while you were enjoying the Sting movie. And I came into the theater to give you a fist bump and to cheer you on for the experience you're about to go into. And that's a true story.
I believe
the
it.
theater was packed. It was packed out. What was the walkout ratio?
Everybody's getting stung.
Was there a lot of walkouts in your theater?
I saw a few, but I think most of everybody's just, they know that it's going to be a low-tier horror movie. They paid $5 to get in, and it was a little over an hour and a half long, so you might as well just ride it out because you are getting to see an unreleased movie. But
when will this be released? Do we know the official date?
April 19th, I believe.
April 19th. I saw your out of the theater reaction video, which is right here on this channel, The Meltdown. If you have not seen it, Tyler's crushing those out of the theater reaction videos. And I believe you used the line, "This may be something good to watch on the Sci-Fi Channel." I believe that was part of your review,
correct.
which I think is the ultimate slap in the face to a horror movie.
Correct. In a block right next to like a giant shark versus mega croc or whatever, like those level movies. This falls right in line with it.
Tyler hated this movie so much he walked out hating the Sci-Fi Channel even more. He was angry at the Sci-Fi Channel that these movies are allowed to exist.
Because I know this movie's going to pop back up.
I'd never heard of this movie before you were subjected to having to see it.
Either.
But it's about some girl and a pet spider, right?
Correct.
That's it? That's all we need to know?
So at the beginning, there's like a little snippet of a news broadcast where they mention an asteroid shower. It's the one and only time it's mentioned. And
What's that to do with the spider?
well, she finds a spider, and it's not like a regular spider, you know. So it might be like an alien symbiote, or it might be a rare spider. I have no idea. The movie didn't tell me. But yeah, it's not good. The spider eats more than normal, grows faster than usual, and
So the spider's a gremlin.
basically, it can communicate with the girl as well. A little.
then-
They whistle back and forth.
And then it bites the girl, and the girl's name happens to be Gwen, and then she turns into a superhero, and
That would have been a much better
it's
movie.
a prequel to Into the Spider-Verse.
Is this a better spider movie than Madam Web?
No.
Oh,
my
that's
God.
really bad.
Wow.
No, I think I was too harsh on Night Swim and Madam Web this year. Because no matter how bad those two movies were, this movie bored me so much more than those.
Oh, my gosh. Well, I appreciate you braving it out there. I hate that it didn't pay off for you, but who knows? Maybe the next Screen Unseen or Scream Unseen movie you watch will end up delivering. But, Tyler, I'm sorry that this thing traumatized you because of just how boring it was, but this is not a movie you recommend people head out to go see.
No, like I said in my out of the theater review, if you're curious, wait for it to hit the Sci-Fi Channel or Shudder, Chiller, something like that. Somebody will pick it up, but you can wait. Don't spend your money.
John, the business model behind this, right? If you're behind the production of this film, if you're behind the release of this film, and you put it out a month early and the word of mouth on it is bad, doesn't that cost you money in the long run? Because you're only charging $5 a ticket on that first opening night. But if word of mouth is really bad on it, then
I would think more people bought the $5 ticket to the Scream Unseen on a chance of seeing something else than they would just for the Sting general release. Excuse me.
Like, I do think if it's a very much unknown movie and you can slip it in there, because neither one of us, I mean, you're a horror person, didn't know what it was. I now have to follow horror because of my wife, and I don't even know what it was. I don't think she knew what it was. It helps. Like, imagine a movie like Skinamarink, okay? It ended up having a pretty good trailer and decent little marketing for as cheap as it was made, but I wouldn't have known what it was if you didn't show it to me. But imagine if that was something you go in, and I thought it was terrible, but it has its audience for sure, that's something you see, and then you come out, and I say it's terrible, but you may come out and say, it's different. You may want to go see it. That then it could help someone like that would have never been seen otherwise if it didn't have the viral moment that it had. So I can see a movie like this potentially benefiting from it instead of ultimately being hurt, because it probably wouldn't have made much money anyway because we didn't even know what it was.
Tyler, give me a shot here of our wide shot, because I want to show I'm inspired by horror movies. I have a book over here called Horror, 333 Films to Scare You to Death, and I adore this book. It's got a lot of classic horror movies in there. I have a feeling that this movie, Sting, would be in the 333 films to bore you to death. Okay. Let's go to...
Your joke
sorry.
was better than the movie.
Oh, thank you, Tyler.
That's not saying much. I'm watching the trailer. It looks really good.
Rocky is here with us as well, and Rockstar. Always enjoy your time here. I like to ask random questions to Rockstar to start off the show because I never know where it's going to go, but it's a genuine question that I want to know an answer to. Rockstar, when was the last time you went into a Chuck E. Cheese?
Can we answer this honestly?
Yes.
All right, this is probably 15, 16 years ago. A friend of mine and I, back in the day, Chuck E. Cheese had really good pizza. Quality's gone downhill. We decided, hey, let's get Chuck E. Cheese pizza. Let's just pick it up. And we called and they said they don't do pickup. Well, damn. Hey.
So hold on. This is a Harold and Kumar Goes to White Castle, but with Chuck E. Cheese pizza?
Real quick, what if, now hear me out, what if we go, how creepy would it be if it just two single guys go on a Tuesday night to Chuck E. Cheese and sit at a booth and just eat pizza?
How high were you?
Completely sober.
Okay.
And, well, you know they're going to get stared at. Yeah, we're going to get stared at. We're going to have to get our hands stamped and everything. But we literally just want to eat the pizza. But how creepy is it? Two guys in their mid to late 20s going to just get some pizza. And we did it, and it was super uncomfortable. There wasn't really that many birthday parties going on, but it's just like, let's eat. This is okay pizza, but the experience is too awkward. So I would say about 15, 20 years ago.
Was the pizza good?
No.
Was the band playing, the animatronic band at that point? Because they've gotten rid of that.
Rocket Fire Explosion was the Showbiz band, and no, they were not playing. Chucky was off that day, but now they got a credit card or whatever, and like it's way different now. They got a dance floor, but have not been since. But it was not with a kid, and it was not a birthday party. It was me and a friend going, let's get some pizza.
No Munch's Make Believe Band. That's where it's at right there.
No.
Okay. Well,
The Freddy Fazbear.
see, I was going to ask. This is a Five Nights at Freddy's inspiration, Chuck E. Cheese, isn't it?
It is. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza is Chuck E. Cheese, and the band is led by Freddy Fazbear as Five Nights at Freddy's. My wife has actually said multiple times we drive past the one over in Vestavia.
No, it's right on my first kiss too. Behind it, not in it, behind it.
That's a whole different story.
I should stop asking Rockstar random questions.
Chuck E. Cheese is a place in my heart.
But every time, look, I had kid birthday parties there and stuff and went to them. But like every time we drive past it, my wife's like, we should get pizza. It's the exact same thing. We should get pizza from Chuck E. Cheese. I remember back in the day, it was really good. Now, when you're 5, any pizza tastes good.
Yeah.
But, and it actually does pop up on DoorDash. So we've been
Now
tempted.
it does, but back then, like it really was. There was a time I think we had it once before, and it was like really, really good. And I was like, "This is good. We should go. We can't get it. We can't pick it up." They stopped doing that service, so let's just go sit down and eat. And it was super uncomfortable. It was probably a 20-minute meal.
Did anyone ask you if you were there for a party?
No.
Did anyone ask you to leave?
It's like,
That
Are
guy
you
over
here
there,
for the
yeah,
kids'
we're
party?
with him.
No.
just dads keep looking at us like those guys, like they're not with anybody. They're with each other, and they just keep eyeing us. No, but it turned out that my friend knew the manager, who came up to us and said, like, "Hey, dude, I'll just give y'all each like 20 tokens." We're just like, "No, no, we're just gonna eat and
Move
get
over,
out of here."
kid.
And he was like, "No, I'll give you." I was like, "No, thank you so much." But it's weird that, dude, I got a connection at Chuck E. Cheese. No,
I think we should all go to Chuck E. Cheese one day.
There is one right down the street.
I know. We should.
Can we? I don't know. Can we film content
nope,
there?
you can. I'll get imagine you're gonna have kids. You have to blur
Well,
their faces.
We'll figure it out.
Yep.
I think the
not to
Meltdown
hurt-
crew should have a Chuck E. Cheese.
Not to
day.
hurt the kids or anything, just with us.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to just film us and not the kids. There's gonna be, I mean, because I'm gonna be playing, guys. It's different now.
There's Dave and Buster's too.
Yeah, that's too adult.
Yeah. No, Dave, I'm all about Dave and Buster's. But
I want something I can dominate.
the old Chuck E. Cheese in Vestavia used to have a Super Mario Brothers arcade game, and I was
Yep.
obsessed with it. It's literally just popping it into your console, the exact same game, but I would want to pay tokens to
Yeah.
have to start over every time I died.
So you went on a completely sober bender craving Chuck E. Cheese pizza, and then you went and you did that thing, and
Yeah.
then you felt not so great about it afterwards.
No, not
and
that
you've
bad,
lived
but-
with regret ever since.
No, you asked me a question. I was the guy. I'm a guy that I can. When I was single, I could eat dinner by myself on a Friday night at a restaurant and not think twice about it. Okay. I would rather go to a restaurant or a fast food place and not bring it home because I've been home. I don't want to take it home, and that was me being social. I would go to a restaurant and sit down and I would read my phone or whatever, but that didn't bother me. I didn't feel awkward at all. I would go to movies all the time by myself. It doesn't affect me. So this Chuck E. Cheese thing, I just know, like, this looks really bad. I know my intentions, but this looks really bad. But that stuff never bothered me. But you asked the question.
No, it's fair, and it's a complete segue to talk about how Rockstar may be making some poor choices in his life.
What?
John, we're making better choices in ours when it comes to our diet. We're not just out there in the parking lot begging for Chuck E. Cheese pizza. We're making solid choices every day, eating multiple times a day, never hungry on this thing, which is one of the luxuries of Way to Wellness.
It is. I got my bars right here. Had one right before the show. You ate a much healthier lunch right before the show as well. Thanks to our friends at Way to Wellness, Leslie and her whole board certified team there. They have us on the right track. They have Jim Dunaway on the right track. They've got my dad on the right track. Go to aplanforme.com. You too can get on the right track with our friends at Way to Wellness. They'll come up with a very customized plan for you, just like they did for me and just like they did for Tim. Our plans are different. Our 2 plans are different than Jim's plan. So go to aplanforme.com and learn more about our friends at Way to Wellness.
A lot of your chats are coming in here in the live chat. Really appreciate that. We have Zach who says, I don't even know if Busty Beavers is a better Chuck E. Cheese spoof. I don't know what that is. I probably just said something I'm not
South Park
supposed
is
to say.
Whistling Willie's, I think.
I don't know.
We have Russell who says, thank God my children have outgrown Chuck E. Cheese. We have Troy who says, never stepped foot in a Chuck E. Cheese. We have Benjamin who says, Rockstar being sober is what makes it creepy. I agree. I agree with that.
That's a good point.
We have your wife Laurel who says, I do badly want to go to a Chuck E. Cheese.
I'm telling you, she wants to.
Just to see what it looks like now, but I'm terrified to go in since it looks so sketch. I am worried about there being an issue while we're in there or something. We have to like sacrifice Tyler. Like we can't save him. We have to leave him behind.
Hey,
he's
Five
trapped
Nights
in
at
the ball
Freddy's
pit.
turned into a horror movie for a reason.
Anyway.
The souls of the children are in the
I'm gonna
bears.
get caught in a spring suit.
So yeah, sorry Tyler, you gotta be the one. You're the youngest, so you have to be the one.
I just want some ice cream cake.
Let's see here. We have G. Curbo who says the episode of Raw last night was cinema. It absolutely was. Let me tell you, The Rock went to a whole nother level as he's taken on this final boss persona, and he ramped it up last night. He's using F-bombs. He's bashing Cody's skull in. I thought he was going to throw him over this barricade that would have landed him 30 feet below at one point. It was pretty dramatic, and I think it's a great build-up to WrestleMania where who knows what's going to happen, but I have a feeling The Rock is going to come out of that probably with some other, like a face turn or something. So we'll see. But we're planning our WrestleMania coverage and how all that's going to work out, but I'm looking very, very forward to seeing how WWE ends up handling WrestleMania this year, which is almost upon us. We have Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, a movie that I got sent to by you, the audience, yesterday. That was the vote. I asked, do you want me to go see Ghostbusters or do you want me to go see Immaculate? Or do you want me to go see Love Lies Bleeding? Well, there were no Love Lies Bleeding showings. We won't get into why.
Oh, no.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm just saying that was the landscape. So I got Ghostbusters or Immaculate. Ghostbusters won the vote.
How was your nap?
I did not take a nap in this film, but I understood why you took a nap in this film. I literally am watching the movie going, yep, that's when Lunsford fell asleep. Oh, that's when Lunsford woke up
opening credits.
An hour and 15 minutes later. I'm like, that's when Lunsford woke up. You didn't miss much. I'm going to be honest. You didn't miss much. So I'm going to say some things about Ghostbusters. I'm not going to get into spoiler territory. I know we've had the request, please don't spoil this movie. Promise you I won't. Just bring a pillow and a blanket with you.
Uh-oh.
But here's what I want you to know about my experience. I had a couple in there that were probably in their 50s that laughed the entire time.
Oh, no.
And it would have been like, yeah, we probably need to get in there. They had to have been whatever Rockstar was not on when he went to Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh, no.
They had to have been on something.
I did not laugh one time
They
of the half
were
movie I saw.
dying laughing in this movie. And it made it uncomfortable because the movie is not overly funny. John, you know this.
No.
It's got some cute humor. That's like the nicest thing I can say about it. It's got some cute humor.
Like, so was it sarcastic laughter?
No, they were like
Genuine laughter.
genuine belly laughing, like both of them, like
Wow.
this is the funniest thing we've ever seen. Like, oh my God, did you see the way Paul Rudd just looked at the camera? Oh my God. And I'm like, they're on shrooms or something. That's the world we live in, these degenerates.
These 50-year-olds.
I'm back there with my, my notepad and my pen taking notes for this. and they're just laughing nonstop. It was like bad canned laughter that you watch on a sitcom, where it's like filmed in front of a live studio audience, but it's like you can tell it's canned laughter. That was rough for me, but they thought it was absolutely hysterical. I don't know what movie they were watching.
You should have done a video review with them.
I should have just filmed them.
Yeah. So what'd you
watching
think?
They were laughing. It was like the Joker had robbed a bank or something. It was insane. It was crazy. Anyway, I enjoyed the first act setup. It sort of like brings back the nostalgia, right? That's what this franchise is really built on. It's making you nostalgic for the original. That's what every Ghostbuster since the first one has tried to get you to do. Feel more special about the first one. And I liked that aspect of it, right? They take you back to New York. They show you the building. You got the logo. It's just, you're back in Ghostbusters world. You're like, okay. And then, unfortunately, you're stuck in Ghostbusters world where they play it as safe as they can possibly play it throughout the course of the film.
Which is boring.
It is the most mundane version of Ghostbusters I've ever seen. You can hate on the 2016 version of Ghostbusters all you want. It opened up bigger than this movie did. But it at least took some chances, and it at least tried some things. This movie is just like a flat line. It's not, flat line normally is really bad. It's just steady. It's not so bad that it's bad. It's not so good that it's good. It is just the most safe, boring version of Ghostbusters I've ever seen. And
what
John,
made Afterlife good was that it was different, though. And it's like, we need to go and do this as much old school Ghostbusters, involve Dan Aykroyd in the main plot of it, Bill Murray, actually throw him in there, throw everybody in there and put it in New York where you're in the firehouse. You're doing the exact same thing. The first movie, it's in Oklahoma. It's totally different. It's, there's some old ruins under a cave in Oklahoma. That's where the ghosts are. Like,
it felt
it's
fresh,
yeah.
I'm sure. I haven't seen it, so I went into this, and there's tons of exposition at the beginning of this film. For those who haven't seen the other one, that kind of explains why they're in this situation. You're able to pick things up. If you haven't seen Afterlife, you could walk into this one and you'd be fine. That's not really what frustrated me. I thought Finn Wolfhard was completely just flat as can be in this movie. Like, I don't understand the appeal of him other than he has a huge following on social media.
He fits on Stranger Things, but when that show ends here in the next couple of years, he will completely drop off the face of the earth.
I watched Finn Wolfhard. I watched Timothée Chalamet, and to me, they are in totally different worlds right now in terms of their performances.
And I said he is his ugly brother.
Well, it feels like he didn't want to be there. Yeah. I don't know. It felt like he was just like this character doesn't really want to be there, but he also didn't feel like he wanted to be there. But anyway, Paul Rudd, who I generally like, it feels like he's playing Scott Lang in this movie. He feels like you could have taken him out of Quantum Mania as the same guy. I mean, it's the same mannerisms. It's the same actions. It's the same timing. It's the same, I'm kind of like the oddball out here in the scientific community. Like, it's the same thing as Ant-Man.
Oh, he acts with the kids in this just like he does in Ant-Man. Because remember, the whole thing is hadn't seen his daughter in a long time. So the way he acts with her is like a foreign father figure. It's the exact same thing he does here.
I'm glad he's cashing checks. Paul Rudd's one of the most likable actors in all of the movie industry.
Sexiest man alive.
He was. Now it's
Patrick Dempsey.
Patrick Dempsey, who's coming back for Scream, by the way.
Yes!
They're talking about him and Courtney Cox being officially coming back for Scream, and I'm very excited about that. But anyway, so Paul Rudd was exactly the same. Once again, it's not too unfunny, but it's not too funny. It's not smart, but it's not totally dumb. It's just
forgettable.
It is completely mundane is the word I will use. And I was angry in this when I'm watching the Ecto-1, and it's not nearly as cool as the DeLorean. I think we just need to say that one more time. That Lunce's list.
That's a little top heavy.
Got that wrong. That's the one thing where I was like, me and John, if there's one thing we disagree on about this film, it's that the Ecto-1 is not cooler than the DeLorean.
You picked a station wagon over a time-traveling sports car, John. I don't think we can say it any other way.
I'll accept your apology.
Oh.
Okay. So, I gave Ghostbusters Frozen Empire 2.5 out of 5.
It's better than I did.
I think you also gave it 2.5 out of 5.
2.
You did 2 out of 5?
I think I did 2.
I think you did 2.5 because I saw your letterboxed score.
Oh.
I always give my score and then I look at John's to see if we're way off because normally we are, or whether it's the same. I think it was 2.5.
Honestly, don't know.
It was 2.5. You can confirm with me. All right, we're getting some Godzilla x Kong first reactions. And this is a film that supposedly is not going to allow full reviews to be published until Thursday, which is when the previews begin for this film, which is when audiences can actually see it for the first time. And we are seeing social media reactions, which are allowed. And here are a couple of them. I am Michael U. Lee writes, hashtag Godzilla X Kong is a noisy Titan brawl with hardly any human heart to engage us on an emotional level. But audiences coming for the fights alone are getting a supremely awesome tag team match between Godzilla and Kong versus Scar King and Shimo. Yep. Hashtag Godzilla X Kong, the new empire.
That's all I want.
What I am seeing trending here, and we see this from at Aaron's PS4, Godzilla X Kong hits plenty of sweet spots for me. Tons of wild kaiju action, a brutal villain for Kong, a powered up Godzilla, Dan Stevens having a blast, some legit surprises in so many colors. Bring me more Monsterverse. I feel like when I'm seeing these reactions, everything they wanted Pacific Rim to be, this is a movie that's actually achieving those things. And John, I know you have a soft spot in your heart. It's a guilty pleasure for you to have those type of movies where you turn your brain off and you're just able to watch monsters fighting monsters, robots fighting robots, whatever it may be, big scale, large Titan fights. That is what you're looking for, and that sounds like what you're going to get on Thursday night.
That's all I wanted from this one. The more they team up, the better, because that's basically what happened at the last one. Oh, it's Godzilla versus Kong. We have a common enemy now, and that's basically what it's going to continue to be as they go into the Hollow Earth, which happened in the last movie. It happened in the Monarch TV show as well, which I have not finished, but it's pretty good. I'm most of the way through it on Apple Plus, and then this one. Pacific Rim is one of the movies I probably rewatched the most of any movie out there. It's probably only behind Infinity War and Endgame, because it's just so much fun to watch a bunch of robots fight a bunch of big Godzilla-style monsters. It's very neon. It has very much like a Daft Punk feel to it, Tron feel to it as well.
It's going to take a lot for them to make you hate this movie.
Correct. Because the thing, I mean, once again, am I going to rate it a 5 out of 5? No, there's no chance I'm going to rate this a 5 out of 5, even if I'm way more entertained than any other movie I see this year. Because I know at the end of the day, it's a stupid popcorn movie. But sometimes you want to go see a stupid popcorn movie, and sometimes you want to go see that deep, touchy-feely, make-you-cry movie. This just happens to be
I've always been,
a popcorn movie.
I think maybe we differ on this. I've always been under the mindset that if you sell yourself as being the perfect monster fight movie and you deliver that, it's a 5 out of 5 experience. And I don't take that 5 out of 5 and compare it to something that's an Oscar movie. They can live in their own separate universes and have their own separate scores because of what they're trying to achieve.
They can.
You're telling me there's 0% chance that this is a 5 out of 5 movie for you, even if you think it's totally awesome. And I don't feel like that's fair to the film.
Yes.
But were you giving a 5 out of 5 when you compare it as a film alone, or you can give it a 5 out of 5 compared to other Godzilla films?
When it comes
or
to
your expectations?
My expectations are monster fights. If they even try to make me care about one human character, it loses a star automatically, because I don't want to see that, and it's going to do that. But
if they even try,
tell me I have a heart.
But because the whole thing now with the last movie is there's like this little girl that can communicate with them, so you have to have some kind of human interest story. Yeah. But here's my thing: if you want to separate, hey, what was the best monster fight movie, and hey, what was the best A24 deep thinker movie, you can separate those two. But when it says what are your top 10 films of the year, you got to put them together. And I can't have Godzilla X Kong at a 5 out of 5 because I want to watch Godzilla blow stuff up. Godzilla blew stuff up. I want to go watch an A24 movie that makes me feel all my feelings. It makes me feel all my feelings. Well, there's my top 2 movies of the year. That's just not how it works out.
One thing I've heard is this has an awesome soundtrack to it, that there's a lot of 80s songs that are injected into this that really work well during some of the sequences. Let's read another quick reaction here. We have Heroes Unbound that said this: It's an absurdly fun ride, a teaming of titans with tremendous scale and a fast-paced adventure. This movie knows to deliver pure fun on a huge scale. My advice, just strap in and enjoy the ride. And it sounds like you're ready to do that. I got spoiled. Godzilla Minus One is a near perfect Godzilla movie. And I don't think I can go back to this version of Godzilla and be satisfied in the least bit. I don't even want to see it opening night. I may not see it opening night.
But I expected Godzilla Minus One to be more complete. and it delivered on every possible front. It was by far one of the best movies last year. I think I had it number 3 overall. That I can compare that. But there's plenty of movies last year that it's like, hey, it's just fun watching stupid. Even in Ant-Man, go back to Paul Rudd. Ant-Man was not a good movie, but there's action. There's set pieces in it that it's like, hey, that's cool to see. But it doesn't mean I'm going to say, hey, because I still can enjoy it and can go back and watch a Marvel movie like I can with almost any Marvel movie, that it's going to be the greatest movie of the year for me.
Tyler, I know you love these types of movies. Has the marketing for this really pushed you to a point where you're super excited to go in Thursday night? Because I've heard you talk more about Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2.
So I prefer the other style of Godzilla movies, the Godzilla -1s, the Shin Godzillas, the more grounded, more survival.
Where the human characters matter.
Yes. Yeah, where the human characters matter, and they do a good job of getting you to care about them. I'll still watch this. I want to see this in Prime. I might go opening night. I might go later this weekend, but I still want to see it in Prime. I think Nick Fury might pop up and help King Kong out.
You think so?
Yeah. He's already got the Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh, wow. There's a lot of different things.
I knew exactly what joke you were making, but it's like, let's get through it.
It's okay. I mean, you can be excited for this. That's fine. I'm glad that you got a movie that you're excited for coming out here. But I just think that this is a movie you know whether you're in or not pretty much from the get. And it's going to make money. It's going to be number 1. It's going to knock Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire out of that top spot. It's going to take away a lot of their business. I don't know how well of a hold Ghostbusters will have based on word of mouth, like what you're hearing from us. I don't know how much excitement there will be to keep that movie alive. And this is going to be a movie that's well supported. This is the last reaction I want to read to you because this is the one that gets me the most intrigued by it. This is from E-Man's Reviews. It says, Godzilla X Kong was more fun than I expected. I was happy to see Kong get more respect. It was nice to see more monsters and less annoying humans. The battles were cool but corny, and the science got a little too nerdy. It felt like Christopher Nolan and WWE made a monster movie.
Oh, bad. That's no.
And
That's a description.
To me, that's
Okay.
a description. So I'm not hearing things some people are saying like it's just, it's dumb monster stuff and the human stuff is awful. I've heard that and like they're like, this is, I'm selling that. But
The monster stuff is the point.
What in your opinion was the best part of the trailer that you saw?
When Godzilla and Kong pop up and start running with each other at the end, basically saying, hey, we're going to be the team up, and they're basically charging, and Kong has his Infinity Gauntlet on, and Godzilla's turned pink, and they're...
Did they do like a high five or anything at the end or a chest bump?
The coolest part of the trailer
They probably will.
was when you saw that giant tooth being knocked out. That was the coolest part of the trailer.
Here we go.
That was the second trailer. But
And I recommend that
we go.
monster visit my friends at Alabama Dental Associates. They will get that tooth back where it needs to be. I absolutely love my dental team. That monster will as well. I hope that if I can fit in the chair, that monster can, being a 7-foot monster myself. It's located on Grants Mill Road. Alabama Dental Associates, led by Dr. Jeff and Dr. Brian. They work together with their entire staff, a friendly group. You're going to feel it right when you walk into the door there on Grants Mill Road. Book your appointment today. Maybe you're new in town and you're looking for that permanent dentist. This is the place to go. Alabama Dental Associates. They take care of their patients. They care about their patients. They communicate with you through text, so that way you never miss an important appointment or a cleaning, and you can keep on schedule. Because if you keep putting those things off, those problems add up. Make sure you get checked out there by Dr. Jeff and Dr. Brian at Alabama Dental Associates. For more information, you can call them directly at 205-956-8977. It's 956-8977, or visit alabamadental.com. They look forward to seeing you. Right? Are we on the cusp of a return of Anne Hathaway? Because I had made this statement, I think even on this show, that Anne Hathaway got a lot of hate because of her just being her. And she's come out and basically said the same thing, with the Hollywood Reporter writing up a story on this, saying she won an Oscar, then her career took a turn for the worse. The actress says in a new profile that co-hosting the 2013 Oscars and taking home the honor of Best Supporting Actress for Les Mis marked a tipping point where her online and media reputation turned toxic, to the point where she says it cost her movie roles. The viral phenomenon was dubbed as Hatha-hate and had no actual cause other than the actress enjoying a surge in exposure and popularity that got her dubbed annoying by some. taking her from it girl to not it girl thanks to some online backlash. The internet hated Anne Hathaway, but John, if there's one thing I know about the internet, they love bringing people back and giving them their flowers.
And they also love hating people just for the sake of hating people.
That is correct. What do you think about Anne Hathaway as a performer and Anne Hathaway as a public figure? Can you separate the two? Because it seems like as a performer, she was over with a lot of people, but as a public figure, she just got on their nerves to the point where she's admitting this cost me a lot of progress in my career.
Barring something absolutely egregious, I don't care what you do in your personal life. Tom Cruise is insane. Every time he puts a movie out, I'm going to be one of the first ones getting tickets to go see it. I mean, Tom Cruise, in my opinion, has by far the best filmography of anybody, and he's a wacko. But it doesn't matter because he's a good actor. Anne Hathaway, I never paid attention to that. I vaguely remember when she hosted the Oscars.
It was with James Franco.
Yeah.
She won for Les Mis.
Correct.
And after Les Mis, you said 2013 is when she's saying it all went downhill, right?
Yeah, she said after winning the Oscar, she told Vanity Fair, quote, "A lot of people wouldn't give me roles because they were so concerned about how
Christopher Nolan Interstellar."
Well,
that's what I'm saying. Literally the year after was the best movie she's ever done.
Hold on.
She's in Dark Knight Rises as well around then.
She was in Dark Knight Rises before that, 2012.
That was before that.
Okay.
But this is what she says. She says, director Christopher Nolan came along, casting her in Interstellar, and said this, quote, "I had an angel in Christopher Nolan who did not care about that and gave me one of the most beautiful roles I've had in one of the best films that I've been a part of." She was really happy to be in Interstellar, saying, quote, "I don't know if he knew that he was backing me at the time, but it had that effect, and my career did not lose momentum the way it could have if he had not backed me." So she is throwing a lot of love at Christopher Nolan right now for being basically a person who came in as a guardian angel and protected her and her career from all of the online hate.
I'd never paid attention to the online hate for her. I mean, she's fine as an actress to me. I liked the theatrical version of Les Mis, not as much as the play, but I liked it okay. She had a really good 2012 with that and Dark Knight Rises because that's my favorite Batman movie, which I know that's, I'm definitely in the minority there. But then coming back with Interstellar, and then I was so excited for Colossal, the first movie that Neon ever did, and it was awful. It had a terrible twist to it at the end, and it was awful, but I was so excited for it. But she was in it. She was the main person in it. Ocean's 8, I mean, I know a lot of people frown at that, like they frown at the 2016 Ghostbusters for what it is, but I thought she was fine in it. And then, lately it seems like she's getting work. I don't know that I necessarily care to go see most of her movies, but my wife will not stop talking about her upcoming movie, The Idea of You, because it's all Harry Styles fan fiction. And so that seems to be something that will kind of put her back on a stage with a lot of people that may have otherwise kind of forgotten about her.
After the Oscars, a New York Times story asked the question, "Do we really hate Anne Hathaway?" And then she endured such things as the San Francisco Chronicle dubbing her the most annoying celebrity of the year. And the New Yorker wrote an article, "Why are you so annoying?" It was the traditional media and social media at the same time. And what traditional media was doing at that time was feeding social media. They said, "Oh, a lot of people on social media don't like Anne Hathaway. How do we get those clicks? By churning this up?" And Anne Hathaway did nothing but be herself. And she got blacklisted for it, basically, because the internet turned on her. It's one of the craziest things I've seen in Hollywood. She did nothing wrong other than be excellent at her craft.
And 95% of hate across a lot of things in cancel culture or whatever you want to say from social media, 95% of it is just people reacting to the fact that somebody hated them. And then it becomes a whole firestorm of then that name is trending and you find the source of it. And then it's like, well, everybody's talking about her. The New Yorker wrote they didn't like her, so everybody must hate her. And that's not at all what it is, but that's what the perception of it is. Oh, this thing was canceled because this one person has had to have a stupid opinion about something. Well, then the social media storm takes place. They have become the most trending thing in the world at that point. And it's like, oh, I'm supposed to hate this person, I guess. That's all I've heard from Anne Hathaway because I don't care that much about Anne Hathaway, honestly. But all I hear is I'm supposed to not like her. Okay, I'm supposed to not like a lot of things that I like.
Was she ever a bigger? I know she won an Oscar, but was she ever a big enough star to like?
She was on the cusp.
Yeah. Well, so you think that if the 2013 Oscars didn't happen on that stuff, she would be the it girl right now? Honestly,
I think she could have had a reign of being at the top of the charts. Yes.
Well, just that year, she had her Oscar-winning performance and the finish to the biggest Batman trilogy. So, I mean, that people didn't like her necessarily in it, but was still a major part of
Yeah,
it.
but did you go to Batman to see Anne Hathaway? Did I go to Interstellar to see Anne Hathaway? She was great in it, but
I go
she
to
wasn't.
Batman movies to see Batman. I don't
Correct.
really. It's not about who's in it.
No, you don't think you didn't see Heath Ledger? You didn't
No,
see. You
I
didn't
went to
really care
that.
about Tom Hardy.
I'm saying that the ensemble in those Batman
Right.
films are great, and I'm not discrediting the performance. I'm just saying what gets me in is that it's a Batman thing.
Yeah,
which
I still
is
saw
why-
The Dark Knight because of Batman, not because of Heath Ledger.
Yeah, I'm just the IP is important in those situations. I just think Anne Hathaway ended up in a horrible, horrible trend of the internet gets to play the role of judge, jury, and executioner.
Right.
Traditional media fed into that, saying we can get clicks by making it real easy to create this phenomenon. And it doesn't feel like it was a real thing. And I feel like we're going to see a comeback here of Anne Hathaway to a level that her talents can really be shown off. I didn't love the film Barbie, but this film, it felt like she would have had a great role in that somewhere, of being someone who has a personal story that would correlate with what the message of that movie is.
Potentially.
And I would love to see her with some great filmmaker and in a position where she can shine and sort of get back a lot of what she's lost. But she's currently promoting her upcoming Amazon rom-com, The Idea of You, which comes out on Prime Video on May 2nd. It just debuted at South by Southwest.
Harry Styles fan fiction.
There we go. All right. Let's get into someone who has plenty of work, has had plenty of work throughout their career for the majority of time. It's the inspiration behind today's Lunce's list. Back in 2023, Adam Sandler was awarded the Mark Twain Prize for American Humor. His distinct personality has led to an entire catalog of memorable films ranging from insanely funny to intensely dramatic. Sandman may have been introduced to us as a notable force on SNL, but has solidified himself over the past few decades based on his reputation. He's spoken so well of by his friends, by his inner circle, the people he lets into his life, which are some of the coolest friends that a guy can have for sure. So which Sandler movies are John's go-tos? Let's get ready for another brand new edition of Lunce's List.
What is this? What is this? Lunce's list, Lunce's list, oh. What is this? What is this? Lunce's list, Lunce's list, oh. Lunce's list to find. Lunce's list to find. Lunce's list to find. Lunce's list to find.
Right, John, lots of options to choose from. Your job is to narrow it down and try to make everybody happy along the way.
Not going to happen. Never
Question:
does. Yes.
Do animated show movies count?
Yes.
I would say they count, but yeah.
Yes, they count. They count.
No.
John, which 5 Adam Sandler movies are your personal favorite?
God,
Are
I
you
couldn't narrow it down to 5.
making a big push for 8 Crazy Nights or Hotel Transylvania?
Leo.
I still have not seen Leo
That's
yet.
actually pretty good.
I've watched most of his Netflix stuff, but I have not.
If Hubie Halloween makes this list, I'm walking out.
Hubie Halloween does not make the list.
that's
I
all I
can
needed to
go
hear.
ahead and tell you that.
All I needed to hear.
I got it to 13, some of which is like, you like that movie, and some of which are like, I can't believe you didn't include that movie.
Going overboard.
So we'll see what makes the list. All right.
Okay, let's start off with number 5. And we'd love to hear your 5. Rank them in order from 5th to 1st in the chat. We would love to hear what are your 5 favorite Adam Sandler movies in order, and we'll see how they correlate.
We're going to start with 5 today, he said.
By the way, we have Steven that says Tyler needs a button he can press that does the Brown Bane voice. I hate the Brown Bane voice. I never
I
want
would
to hear
love a button.
Pittsburgh.
Oh, Pittsburgh. Oh, it sounds
Pittsburgh.
nothing. It sounds like an angry ostrich.
No.
It does not even sound like Bane.
That's
No,
why I
if I
love
did
it.
that-
I'd be happier if he just said
Pittsburgh.
Gotham. If he did it exactly the way he does it, but
Well,
says,
no, Heinz Ward
Gotham
plays
instead
for
of
Heinz Ward
Pittsburgh.
plays for Pittsburgh. That's the only reason.
I hate we're even giving Steven, I blame you for this. I hate we're even giving this thing oxygen.
Oh, Pittsburgh.
It's the worst thing. Stop, Tyler. You're one too. Stop
Damn it, Pittsburgh.
Oh, Pittsburgh. Oh, Ben Roethlisberger. Oh, the Steelers.
Oh,
Stop.
Heinz
He doesn't
Ward
do any
scored
of
a
this.
touchdown.
Number 5, 50 first dates, or as I like to see it, so first dates, because your 5s are way off. They're way inconsistent.
Yeah.
Laurel, can we work on John's 5s at home? Can you get him like a sheet that
No.
works on that?
Who writes anymore?
It's awful. It's those.
This is the first time I've written with my actual hand on something. And
John, give me a
probably
closer
10
view of the
years.
list.
You do it every day.
Give me a closer view of the list
sorry,
because
I'm
no, you're good. It's just
So first dates.
look. I'm going to give John some credit though. I do think this is a really good Adam Sandler movie, 50 First Dates. It's insanely rewatchable.
This is my favorite Adam Sandler, Drew Barrymore movie. I am not a Wedding Singer fan at all.
It's tough.
I'm not a Wedding Singer person.
Wedding Singer's probably better.
That's probably my wife's favorite Adam Sandler movie is The Wedding Singer.
You know what's in The Wedding Singer? A DeLorean.
Probably why I don't like it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought 50 First Dates was really well done. I thought the premise, I thought this was the perfect movie. So with Adam Sandler, you think comedy first, always. But in coming up with my 13 movies, there's very much a blend of drama and comedy because he can be a very good dramatic actor as well. And I think this does the best of both worlds better than any movie that he's done. It's got the goofiness. It's got Rob Schneider being Rob Schneider, Sean Astin being goofy. It's got funny things, but I think it tackles the subject, which is even a little goofy to begin with, in how they handle it, but I think it tackles it very well. It has a good ending to it. I really like this movie. Probably, I highly doubt we'll ever get to my top 5 Drew Barrymore movies of all time, but probably in that for Drew Barrymore as well. With
Charlie's Angels Full Throttle was up there.
E.T.'s obviously number 1.
Scream.
Firestarter.
Scream has to be number 1.
Full Throttle.
Though.
Look, I know this is a weird movie that I never thought I'd reference on the show, but
Ever
I think
After?
it's Riding in Cars with Boys is
Yeah.
a movie that Drew Barrymore did that I thought was really good with Steve Zahn. If you've never seen that movie, I don't know why you would check it out now, to be honest, but I thought it was an incredible performance by her, and I saw it at an impressionable age where I'm like, one day I'm going to have my own video podcast, and I'm going to talk about Riding in Cars with Boys and how good it is, but maybe somebody else has seen it out there in
My
the
wife
universe.
just said she loves it. I'm sure she's seen a lot of that.
Oh my gosh, Laurel. I'm telling you, me and Laurel, we have the same cinema profile almost.
I honestly don't know what my 5th would be. I've referenced E.T., obviously Donnie Darko are probably the top 2. I'm obsessed with Fever Pitch. It's probably my favorite romantic comedy. And then 50 First Dates. Outside of that, I don't know what else I'd put on a Drew Barrymore list.
Ever After, the Cinderella story.
Didn't really care for that. Didn't really care for the one where she went back to school.
It was Home Fries and Never Been Kissed.
Never Been Kissed. Yeah.
Well, Drew Barrymore makes the list here at number 5
care
for the
about Charlie's
Adam
Angels.
Sandler list.
Wayne's World 2.
Let's go to
She
number
was the Wayne's
4.
World- Wayne's World 2.
This is one of
What about
those where
Firestarter?
this is one of those where you're going to have to see the totality of the list to have a deep discussion about it because you're going to have to see what's left off. But we're going to narrow it down one by one here. We're looking for your 5 favorite Adam Sandler movies. Number 4. Oh, I saw the H and the U. I was like, is this Hubie Halloween? Hustle.
It is HU on Netflix.
Oh, Hubie Halloween.
Oh,
okay,
Pittsburgh.
stop. Stop it.
All right. Have you seen Hustle?
I have not, but this is a basketball movie.
You need to watch
You know who's
Hustle.
in it?
Adam Sandler.
Boban Marjanovic. Or
Boban
whatever.
is. And guess what? You know how Adam Sandler ends up convincing the player to come to America from Spain?
McDonald's.
He FaceTimes Dirk Nowitzki, and Dirk Nowitzki does this whole thing explaining why Adam Sandler is such a great. He plays a talent scout for the 76ers. So he's like, I don't believe you. Why should I believe you're a talent scout? And he FaceTimes Dirk Nowitzki and holds it up. And he's like, hey, man, this guy, I forgot what his name is in the movie. He's such a great talent scout. You need to listen to him. He knows everything about basketball.
This is a running trend with Adam Sandler, though, because there were a lot of people that were pushing for him to get award consideration from this role.
Fully believe he should have been nominated for an Oscar for this.
But it feels like the Academy has iced him out time and time and time and time again.
Oh, we'll get to another one too. But
I have no doubt.
this is one, because the thing is, so this was 2 years ago. So this is when Austin Butler and Brendan Fraser were the top 2. Colin Farrell was there. I didn't really care for the Banshees of Inisherin. You cannot tell me that Adam Sandler, in my opinion, was third below those two, which are clearly clear favorites. Austin Butler for playing Elvis and Brendan Fraser in The Whale. I would have 100% put Adam Sandler in there over the choices they put. I don't even remember. I think it was the dude from After Sun, Paul Mescal, and I can't remember who else was nominated. But those were just like, we got to find somebody to throw in there because we're not putting Adam Sandler in there. Plus, it's a Netflix movie that kind of flew under the radar to general audiences because you think Adam Sandler comedy. It's not an Adam Sandler funny movie,
Right.
which most of the things he does on Netflix are, and it completely disappeared under the radar. But it had every NBA name you could possibly name in it. The only thing that kills me about it is Kenny Smith plays an agent who's like his best friend.
Right.
And interacts with Charles Barkley and Shaq, and it's like, y'all do a show together, right? But he's playing a fictional role in it.
That doesn't work.
Everybody that plays a fictional role is a smaller NBA player. So like the main guy, I forgot what his name is. He's Spanish. But the main guy played in the league for like 5 years, and now he's playing overseas somewhere. But he's from Spain. He's a no-name, so that's fine because he wasn't like a big player. The guy who's like his rival was some guy who's like a small-time player. That's fine. You don't get Michael Jordan to be somebody else other than Michael Jordan. You don't get Charles Barkley to be somebody else other than Charles Barkley. But they did it with Kenny Smith, and I'm like, you realize y'all have like the biggest sports show around right now.
Samuel says Luka's in it too. Luka Doncic, is that correct?
Oh, you name a basketball player, they're probably in the movie.
Guys, I got to see this movie.
Larry Johnson.
And I think it's very, very good too.
I don't feel like you ever recommended this movie to me though. I don't feel like
I
you
had to have.
Never.
It was one of my top 10 of the year.
Never said, Tim, you need to watch this movie. Because you
I
know
feel
how many
like I
times
did.
you've told me, Tim, you need to watch this movie, and I've immediately gone, okay, I got to carve out some time for this. You've never told me this. But I'm not blaming you because you're getting a lot of love in the chat for having Hustle in there. That must show how good this thing is. It's not a recency bias thing. Also,
He's married to Queen Latifah in it.
Sandler was way ahead of the game with joining Netflix when he did, like in 2016 or whatever. He knew where things were trending, and he knew that he could completely form a whole model and a partnership, a creative partnership with a group that was getting interested at the time in creating original programming, but had not been totally committed to it. Remember, Netflix was just a vessel for studio content to you until they realized to take the next step, we've got to create our own content. And I love that they made that move. I wish it was better overall. There are some big hits and some big misses. They do a poor job marketing what's new on there. A lot of people, it's just word of mouth that they rely on. But Adam Sandler was way ahead of the game in figuring out how to create a cash cow for himself and get directly to the consumers. He gets eviscerated by critics. He gets eviscerated by those within the industry who look at things like high art. And Netflix goes, no, we want things that are watched by people. And Adam Sandler is that brand. So he was way ahead of the game.
Hey, you know what? Everybody watched Hubie Halloween. It wasn't very good, but everybody watched it. I'm just saying.
I knew it was going to make the list
He does
somehow.
plenty of stinkers, but then does some really good things in there too, like Murder Mystery. I thought was good. They did it for Jennifer Aniston. This was good, but he has plenty of stinkers in there as well. But by the way, Netflix, Three Body Problem. I'm halfway through that right now. Really, really good.
Let's go with number 3 on Lunce's list, looking for the 5 best Adam Sandler movies according to John Lunsford. His 5 personal favorite, the ones he champions, however he wants to sort of skew it. These are the 5 movies with Adam Sandler that he most believes in. At number 3,
A classic.
Billy Madison. We're going back here to an OG, and I can't wait to see what else is on the list because Billy Madison, for me personally, is not my favorite movie of that era, and I'm wondering if there are more that will appear here. Who knows? But at number 3, Billy Madison, still a very solid choice. The Chris Farley bus scene gets me every time I watch this movie.
He loses his nose, doesn't he?
Rockstar, before John tells us why it's on the list, what do you think about
That was
Billy
in Dirty
Madison?
Work, I think.
Billy Madison was good. It's a good film. It's one of his first ones. It's an interesting concept. I like the debate scene. You just made this whole room dumber by what you just said. None of it made any sense. That kind of stuff, that's a good film. I gave up. I don't hate Adam Sandler, but I gave up on him. The last theatrical movie I saw with Adam Sandler was Anger Management with Jack Nicholson.
Ooh.
When I saw that movie, I was like, okay, I'm done. I think I'm done.
That
with
one was rough.
Adam Sandler. Is it just to have
Not going to make the list.
an A-list actor like Jack Nicholson is just like, this is awful, and it's such a bad movie. But Billy Madison, that's the first of the 3 that I've seen. So never seen 51st Dates or Hustle.
Billy Madison made the list. It's not my favorite, but to me, it's the most rewatchable because of all the pop culture moments that come from it. That as you go through it, yeah, that's a funny scene that you see a GIF of on Twitter. Yeah, that's funny. There's enough of that. It does have a decent supporting cast in it. Norm Macdonald, Chris Farley.
Is that the O'Doyle rules?
So Doyle rules because he goes through the different grades.
Doyle
and
rules.
He has the different brothers in that family. Bradley Whitford, who now I feel like every time I think of him, I thought of him as that role until Get Out, and now I think of him from Get Out.
For me, it was Adventures in Babysitting. That was my first.
Oh, he was a bad boyfriend. For me, it was Revenge of the Nerds, Nerds in Paradise.
He was in number 2, but this just, I mean, it's just a solid comedy movie that if it came out today would absolutely bomb and nobody would go see it.
Yep.
To be fair, that's pretty much all of his movies now. But
Pretty
anyway,
much all comedies
I was about to say,
whatsoever.
it's all comedies now.
But yes, you're right.
But Billy Madison
bigger
is
than
one
him.
that I always go back and watch just because I feel like it has the most replayability overall, which is why it has to make the list.
Let's go with number 2 on Lunce's list, counting down the 5 Adam Sandler movies that John has chosen to champion today on his list. It's a very exclusive list. Can only have 5. Something's going to be left out in the cold.
I'm guessing he's not going to do mine that I thought that was really good. What is this?
Ooh, Uncut Gems.
Never saw it.
Gems. By the way, I said something's going to get left out in the cold. If you don't want to get left out in the cold, you should contact Realtor Jim Wilson with Location Real Estate. He is the best at what he does when looking for that new place to call home. Remember our friend with Location Real Estate, Jim Wilson. Jim's still an active member of the U.S. military. We appreciate his service to our country and the service in which he provides to his clients. He's a good guy, doesn't take shortcuts when it comes to the home buying process. You want someone who's fully committed, Jim's your guy. He's able to help you secure the American dream of finding your perfect home and cares deeply about making sure you're given all the information needed during the biggest purchase of your life. He's only happy when you're happy. Each of Jim Wilson's clients has his full energy when looking to accomplish their real estate goals. So make sure you're not dealing with just some random real estate agent, some random corporation. Make sure you turn to our good friend, Realtor Jim Wilson with Location Real Estate. Whether you're buying or selling, contact Jim Wilson at 205-329-4758. It's 329-4758 or visit jimwilson.locationre.com. All right, number 2 is Uncut Gems. My wife will hate you for this pick because she is a big Adam Sandler fan. But
she didn't like it?
Despises Uncut Gems.
Oh, my gosh. What did you think?
I thought it was a movie I only wanted to see once.
It's not a rewatcher, for sure.
No. It is one of the most...
Also, knowing what happens at the end, I feel like it kind of ruins the experience to me.
It is a very anxiety-ridden film. And I give the Safdie brothers a lot of credit for creating a very anxiety-riddled film. But it is not a fun watch. And I don't know how it possibly, after you champion Billy Madison as the most rewatchable movie on the list, how do you champion Uncut Gems as something that should be top-tier Adam Sandler? Tell me about it, John.
It is top-tier Adam Sandler. It's not top-tier Adam Sandler comedy. Obviously, it's not a comedy. But I started my writing off with a lot of the genius in this movie goes to the Safdie brothers. But I think they hit a home run in casting Adam Sandler because the minute you see that, it's like, Adam Sandler? I mean, he had done plenty of stuff. He had done Paul Thomas Anderson movies. He had done serious movies in the past. But, like, Adam Sandler, I don't know about that. But, like, Adam said there's one thing that Adam said makes Hustle work and makes this work, and it's Adam Sandler's love of basketball because he has his whole. I thought Kevin Garnett was actually decent in the movie as well.
I agree.
That you don't typically think of. Oh, Kevin Garnett. Oh, you mean like the basketball player? Yes, the basketball player.
And it's a movie that came out in 2019, 2020, 2019.
I'm gonna say 19.
I'm gonna say 2019, but it's set 19. In like 2010.
Yeah,
and it works. The gimmick works. Originally, it was not supposed to be Kevin Garnett in this role. I think originally it was supposed to be Amari Stoudemire, if I'm not mistaken. But Kevin Garnett worked out.
But I thought he was very good in it. I thought, I really like Lakeith Stanfield. He's in it. I like Idina Menzel. She's in it. I think it's also The Weeknd's first movie. First scripted movie.
He plays an absolute tool in this film,
he does.
Playing himself.
He does.
I don't know who told him that was a good idea.
But, hey, if The Weeknd's going to make high on my Lunce's list for music, I kind of have to include that as well. Mike Francesa, the sports radio guy, was his bookie.
Meeting back in the kitchen. Yeah, that was good.
Like we got John in Baltimore. So John in Baltimore going to call in. So
you should have a radio show.
I do have a radio show.
That is such a good impression.
Awful.
You never know when you're going to get a rock star impression. That was one of them.
The thing is, it's so random. That's like, that's Mike Francesa. That's his bookie out of nowhere. It's not that he's not playing himself.
That's funny.
This is, I talked about it was weird seeing Kenny Smith not playing himself in Hustle. It's the same thing with some of the people in this movie. Now, Kevin Garnett's playing himself, but like Mike Francesa's not. And so this this is somebody who probably has talked about Kevin Garnett nonstop, and they're in the same movie together. But I thought Adam Driver should have been nominated this year as well. Now, Joaquin Phoenix was the runaway winner that year. I thought Adam Driver was actually the best actor that year. But once again, of the other people involved, I would have 100% put Adam Sandler over the other three that were nominated. I like the movie. It's an intense movie. That's the way the Safdie brothers do it because that's the way Good Time was as well. I thought Adam Sandler absolutely worked in this, and I love the movie. For me, it's hard to watch again because I know what happens at the end. Not that it's like a crazy twist or anything, but knowing what happens at the end, it's hard for me to go back and rewatch it.
One thing that was tough for me with Uncut Gems was that I felt like there were only just a handful of people I could recommend it to. It was not a film that on a widespread level I could recommend it to people and feel good about it. And I think it killed a lot of the word of mouth on it because it is just so intense, nonstop from start to finish.
There's a lot of movies we walk out and say, we can't recommend that to anybody, but oh my gosh, what an amazing
Uncut
movie.
Gems was one of those movies.
And if anything, it sheds a light on gambling addiction. And obviously we're around sports betting all the time, working in sports media. So it, once again, was another reason why I liked it.
Richard says, your number one is going to make the chat explode. I feel it coming. 80s babies and 90 kids are going to throw a fit. God help us if he picks Grown-Ups, which, by the way,
Grown-Ups 2.
Ain't gonna be Grown-Ups.
I love Grown-Ups. I'm sorry. It is a guilty
first one's
pleasure.
fine.
Yeah.
My car got broken into when I went to go see Grown-Ups 2, and that sucked. But I still overall had a good time with Grown-Ups 2 even.
I had to walk home, but it was fun.
My car got broken into while I was in Grown-Ups 2.
2 bad decisions that night.
The thing is, the only reason I went to that theater was they were like, hey, Tim, we want you to come out. We know you're excited for Grown-Ups 2. We want you to come out, and we're going to treat you to a night at the movies, and it's going to be a nice thing. Oh, great.
I think they set you up.
They may have. You're
Park over
right.
there.
It may have been an inside job. And my car got broken into. But I have a soft spot in my heart for the Grown-Ups movies. Me and a certain friend group that I grew up with, we loved Grown-Ups 1. And so don't be trashing on Grown-Ups, even though a lot of people hate it.
It ain't gonna be Grown-Ups. It's not gonna be You Don't Mess with the Zohan.
I don't
either.
want to get
That's
to
a good
honorable
movie.
mentions.
Although I actually kind of like You Don't Mess with the Zohan.
So that's not number one either.
That's not number one.
We don't want to get to honorable mentions because that'll spoil it. Here we go. Number one on Lunce's list. There's only one movie I feel like deserves this spot, in
Well-
my opinion.
I'm curious to. Well,
Okay, so you know what my favorite Adam Sandler movie is? No. My favorite Adam Sandler movie is Big Daddy.
Oh, that's a good one,
I
too.
think Big
Two-
Daddy is
yes.
the best Adam Sandler movie.
that's a great film. That's probably my number 2.
Scuba Steve. All right.
Big Daddy doesn't even make my honorable mentions.
Steve Buscemi.
Number one, Happy Gilmore. I'm fine with this choice. There's nothing wrong with that choice at all. I think that is the number one Adam Sandler movie by consensus for most people, which is why we're hearing so many rumors about Happy Gilmore too. But
Correct.
There's nothing wrong with this choice, John.
I mean, it has Vern Lundquist in it. I mean, what else could you ask for?
It does.
I like Vern Lundquist, and I may be the only person on the planet that says that, but you have to take Vern Lundquist for what he is. And I think if you watch it like you're watching Statler and Waldorf, it's hysterical.
If you don't judge him on his performance
Yeah.
and simply on the bit, it's perfect. Yes.
Everybody's, once again, we talked about everybody just loves to hate things. Everybody just loves to hate every announcer that ever has existed on the planet on ESPN, CBS,
true.
Fox, NBC, whatever it may be. Vern and Gary are no different. I actually like Vern. I thought he was good in this as well. Carl Weathers, obviously in the news recently with him passing away, that this is a role that a lot of people go to on top of all of his other big roles. It's funny this actually got brought up literally 5 seconds after I had written Happy Gilmore at number one on my list earlier, that Brown randomly brought up because it's Keira Knightley's birthday, that's like his crush is Keira Knightley in the Pirates movies.
Just as a pirate, though.
Dressed
That
as
was
a-
the
dressed-
weird-
dressed as a
When
pirate.
she's dressed as a pirate,
Dressed as
which
a pirate.
doesn't
Johnny
happen
Depp's a pirate. She's dressed as a pirate.
doesn't happen a ton in that because she's usually dressed up like super nice in them. But anyway, for me, back in the day, it was Julie Bowen and Happy
So the
Gilmore.
only thing that gives Brown a wooden leg is seeing
Oh, God,
Keira
stop.
Knightley. Is that not a
Stop.
good joke?
Well, she's plank worthy.
Anyway,
Sorry.
for me, Julie Bowen and Happy Gilmore, I think Julie Bowen has aged very
Please
well.
take the camera off of me for a second.
And she
How
was
about
really,
if I put it on your close-up?
anyway. Oh my God. Moving on. Christopher McDonald, who plays Shooter McGavin, that he is all forever Shooter McGavin. He'll pop up in other things, but he's still Shooter McGavin to me.
Damn it, this is golf.
This is just a good movie.
I wish I wouldn't have made that joke. Okay,
Anyway,
here's what I want to get to real quick. And I want to get into more of why this is number one for sure, because I've cut you off the entire time like a jerk.
no, I'm done.
Benjamin gives us his 5. Number 5, Longest Yard.
No.
Nah, I mean it's fine, but
It is a remake, but it's the superior version of The Longest Yard, in my opinion. I thought
no, I
Kevin
do agree with
Nash
that.
was really good in
I
it.
do agree with that.
Okay. Number 4, Reign Over Me. This is the movie with Don Cheadle, I believe.
It's great. Had to see the movie, but Pearl Jam song covered The Who's "Rain Over Me." Amazing.
Number 3, Billy Madison. Number 2, Big Daddy. Number 1, The Waterboy. The Waterboy not making the list is tough for me, but Big Daddy not making the list is
I had
criminal.
a pretty clear 6 and 7. The Waterboy was number 6 for me. Tough to leave this one out of all the sports movies. The one that involves football is the one that I leave out because I have basketball, sports betting / basketball, and then golf on there. And I don't even like basketball, but I'm trying to think of the way to politically correctly phrase this. The way that he acts in The Waterboy doesn't really work for me. He does a little bit in Billy Madison too, but he's more of a drunken Billy Madison to where
You prefer the little Nicky role.
Little Nicky is so far away from this list. It's not even
Oh,
funny.
that movie's awful.
What about Jack and Jill, starring Adam Sandler
What
as
about-
Jack and as Jill?
what about That's My Boy with him and Andy Samberg?
Both of
All
those-
these are bad.
Both of those are so far away from this list. Number 7, the Meyerowitz stories that he also did on Netflix. That's what turned me on to Noah Baumbach, and then his next movie was Marriage Story. So that was what kind of got me really into saying, hey, Marriage Story I think would be pretty good. The only reason I didn't include it was because I really like Ben Stiller more in this than Adam Sandler, but Adam Sandler and Ben Stiller were the two. It's a serious movie. And Noah Baumbach's next movie, which I don't think has a title yet, is Adam Sandler and George Clooney are the two leads in it with a stellar cast behind them. So really looking forward to that. And then the 3 that also I really like, but I just didn't really want to include in the list. Mr. Deeds I like. I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry is the only thing I've seen with Kevin James that I like movie-wise. And Airheads, which I like, but he's also a very small role in
He's a
Airheads.
bit
Airheads
role.
is good. Jody says number 5, The Waterboy. Number 4, 50 First Dates. Number 3, Hustle. Number 2, Uncut Gems. Number 1, Funny People, which is a movie that me and
Funny
John
People-
argue about all the time.
Funny People is the worst Adam Sandler
No,
movie.
it's not. Funny
By
People
far.
is a good film.
No.
It's a good movie.
No.
John
We have
went-
fought on this for years.
We have fought on this for years. Funny People's a quality film. Nobody talks about it anymore, so I guess
reason for
John
that.
won the war. But the battle, I think I won that.
Can I
He's great in it.
tell you the one that I haven't even mentioned yet? That was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
You ready for this?
Click.
Click.
Click is
Click
good.
was good.
Click
Good.
is just outside my Click, and I have a soft
Because
spot.
it's a sad
It is
part.
super depressing. I like Click, and I have a soft spot in my heart for Pixels because of all the video game. Because Pixels is not a great movie, but Pixels absolutely nailed the video games. And so I have a lot of respect for Pixels, even though ultimately nobody liked it.
If I was to do a list of best advertising within a film, Bed Bath & Beyond with Click would
Yeah.
be on the list because that's a perfect setting for that movie to
Yeah.
take place. And you buy it. It does. Let me tell you, in Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, there's a lot of in-movie marketing that's over the top of like, okay, how much did they pay to have their product
Yeah.
featured in this? I didn't feel that way with Click. I was like, yeah, this would happen in a Bed Bath & Beyond. Okay, let's see here. We have Nick who says number 5, Big Daddy. Number 4, 50 First Dates. Number 3, The Wedding Singer. No love here. Number 4 for Lunce's list. Number 2, Happy Gilmore. Number 1, The Waterboy. Those are all very solid, all very much of the same vein. So, Nick, there is your 5. And we always appreciate you giving us your 5. John's going to give you his 5 every single day. Overall, pretty satisfied with this list, John?
Oh, I'm very satisfied with all my lists.
Everybody else?
No.
Not so much.
I wish Mr. Deeds would have been on there.
hate
I like.
Mr.
I
I
really like
Mr. Deeds. Okay, it was one of my honorable mentions.
What do you want to see from Adam Sandler that he hasn't done? He's done some Spaceman movie, right? Isn't it called Spaceman?
I watched the first half of it going to bed. It's
Heard it's not that
super
great.
slow.
Yeah.
It's not bad, but it's super slow. And Paul Dano plays like the alien in it. It's just kind of weird, and it doesn't work to me. But I mean, and this is not one of his Netflix movies. He's just the lead in it, and it is a Netflix movie. I mean, I don't know. It's okay.
Here's how I'll wrap up this. We didn't correlate this. I didn't know you were going to go with Happy Gilmore at number 1. I thought it would make the list, but I didn't think it would be number 1. Happy Gilmore 2 apparently is being developed right now by Adam Sandler. A script reportedly exists. Shooter McGavin actor Christopher McDonald revealed the news during a radio interview on Odyssey's 92.3 The Fan, where he said he had recently had a run-in with Sandler, who unexpectedly pulled out the first draft for a sequel from their 1996 sports comedy classic. McDonald said, quote, I saw Adam Sandler about 2 weeks ago, and he says to me, McDonald, you're going to love this. McDonald said, I said, what? He says, how about that? And he shows me the first draft of Happy Gilmore 2. And then he said, maybe you should cut this out of the audio because I don't want to be a liar. But he did show me that, and I thought, well, that would be awesome. So it's in the works. Fans demand it, damn it. And that has caused a whole stir of it's happening. Everybody heard this thing's happening. It's
And I
going to
demand
happen.
more Vern Lundquist in it too.
I don't know if you're going to get that.
He's not doing anything else right now. He's retired from pretty much everything else, so he can do it.
Bob Barker, the fight with Bob Barker and Happy Gilmore is obviously iconic there. Happy Gilmore opened in 1996, made nearly $40 million at the worldwide box office, and it helped Sandler become one of the biggest comedy stars of the decade. Originally released by Universal Pictures, so I don't know how that would work, and with his Netflix deal, if he can still go through Universal for this sort of thing, or if who has the rights or what the disputes may be, I don't know.
Is this the same fate as Zoolander 2, Dumb and Dumber 2,
Oh, it probably will be.
where you wait too long to.
I'd make the argument Anchorman 2. I hated
Anchorman 2 was
2.
not good. Yeah, Anchorman was such a good film too. I think I tapped out. The only thing that's good for those films are the blooper reel. That's it.
Yeah.
Gag reel. They should just make a whole film about that.
That gets me back to Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. It's the type of movie where afterwards you expect a gag reel to play during the credits. That's the type of movie it is, where everyone just seems like they're showing up and they're hitting their lines and they're doing their part there. But that's going to do it for this edition of The Meltdown. John, it's all presented by our title sponsor. That's MyBookie, who's very active this time of year.
Yes, they are with March Madness. Round 3 right around the corner with the Sweet 16. You can go and play there. They have their Super Boost odds. You can go and play those. I love finding a few of those to play every day. And, hey, some of them hit and you get paid out. So go to mybookie.ag. Use promo code next round. When you make that first deposit, you get a little bit of a bonus there from us and our friends at MyBookie. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere at mybookie.ag.
On tomorrow's show, we will have a special guest stopping by in studio. You won't want to miss it live, 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock tomorrow, roughly. And we're going to be having some Meltdown triple threat trivia. EG's going to be back to see if she can defend her title, and I cannot wait to see whether or not EG remains trivia champion.
You know, I just
after
like how
tomorrow's
the entire
episode.
day he was pitching it to EG. It's like, yeah, EG, you're going against this person. EG, you and this person are going against each other. And I was like, the hell does that make me?
Yeah.
John,
I do have a win, by the way.
Person who complains.
I do have a win. Let me just throw that out there.
you're 0-2 in championship bouts. You're 0-2 in championship bouts, and you put up consistently the lowest scores. So I would love to see you come in here and
With a good attitude.
And destroy Meltdown Triple Threat Trivia instead of just complaining about the framework of the game the entire
like
time.
I want to brush up on the
It's
rules.
like, hey, Ken Jennings and somebody else are going against each other in Jeopardy, and then there's some loser over here in the third spot is going to get his butt kicked.
Hi.
All right. Let's go ahead and end the show.
I don't know how that makes y'all feel, by the way, because y'all are the ones I beat.
Let's go ahead and end the show before it gets too personal there. I'm headed to Culver's to enjoy a nice butter burger. I hope you do the same. Thank you for your support of The Meltdown.